What's going on, guys? This is TM25MD, and I have something special for you guys today. Instead of a constructed live, I think I would bring something new to the channel. The tournament scene as part of Duelyst. Not something that's really talked a whole lot about, but these are weekly tournaments held on Wednesday by TCG Esports, and they give out a bunch of cool prizes, something that can help accelerate your collection. And it's just a whole lot of fun. You know, they're just a bunch of friendly matches, but what's really good is the high level of competition. You'll be playing against grandmasters, which are people that have done well in the official circuit called the Duelyst World Championship circuit. And that's that. So this is a good way to, practice and test out some decks that you really haven't, that you've always really wanted to play, but you really didn't have, you didn't want to sacrifice your rank, or you don't have the cards, or you're on a Smurf or whatever. This is an excellent way to do that. So we'll just get you guys a little bit. This is what it looks like. It's the TCG Esports page. As for the schedule, they are held on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m., which is a little bit unfortunate for Europeans because this is a very awkward time of night. It is like the middle of the night for Europeans, so not many of them play. But if you're on the East Coast of the United States or the West Coast of the United States, this is not a bad time to play, So if you can come out to these are great. We usually have a lot of players that come out. For example, last night we had 12 players. We've had almost 20 before. I think it was a little rough night today, but pretty good attendance overall. We have community organizers like LEL, 3 grandmasters as in Briguy, Minmaxer, and Demi Remy, as well as a lot of good players that you'll see in S rank like Death Advocate and Golog. Silver Agria, and Probable Blob. So it's always a very competitive list, but it's also a lot of fun. As for the prizes, they're pretty good, as I mentioned. You get an Epic Key and a Championships Ribbon. Oops, accidentally clicked on something there, my bad. An Epic Key and a Championships Ribbon. Epic Keys can pull you guaranteed legendary items from the armory, so you can get a new Mark II skin, you can get a map, you can get Epic or better. Well, you're guaranteed legendary, so you're guaranteed a battle map or a Mark II skin. Rare key, very good as well. That's a lot of gold and spirit and a lot of emotes. And then 5th or 8th place. So even if you get a buy round, you'll pretty much get 3 core orbs, which is pretty good. Or you can just watch the stream and have a chance to get orbs or keys, which is pretty good. Just if you don't want to play. You can just watch. The stream usually has about 40 to 70 viewers, which is pretty good. Try and get those keys. As for the rules, it is best 2 out of 3. You bring 2 generals. You got to win with both of them, and you just report your scores on here. It's very, very quick. These tournaments usually only last about 2 hours, so if you got 2 hours to spare during this time, I recommend that you go out and doing it. But today, this will be from my perspective. So I won't show the bracket because it will show the final results, but I'll just like to show my games. The 2 decks that I brought were mid-range Cassava and Control Fae. The deck lists will be in the description, so I won't show them here for time constraints. Trying to get through these relatively quickly. So yeah, the first guy I played was Briguy, Grandmaster Briguy77. And we'll start off with this game. Hopefully it'll be a little bit quicker and whatnot. If I do remember him playing, he did bring an Aggro Lilith and an Aggro Riva. As you see, he's a very experienced player. To speed this up, he has 9 championships under his belt, a very strong player. So I felt like leading off here with an Ooze on the center tile, because usually most Songhai minions are backline like Kataras and Scroll Bandits. Those things will usually be backline, so I'm pretty free to threaten this tile. But he has a Phoenix Fire to remove that. as well as play a Katara. Very strong opening by him, but he does leave this tile uncontested. He plays Void Pulse. I don't think it's very important in this matchup, so I do want to deny the tile and get rid of that Katara. Force him to use his removal, limit his hand size, because Aggro Reave is all about those combos and trying to get a minion to stick while chipping you away till they can kill you. So I wanted to deny that tile, whatnot, but he does have a Chakri and a Katatsu, which is pretty good because he's able to cycle his hand as well as buff up that Chakri. Does have double Katatsu, which is pretty strong. But his hand is pretty full now because of those 2 Katatsus, but thankfully we do have a way to deal with it with Demonic Lure and Sphere of Darkness plus Ping. Not a really great turn on my point, but there's no way I can let that stick. So I have to, call that a turn back. He has 4 cards, as well as a Heartseeker. The reason why I didn't want to use my BBS there was because, so let me pass here, or pause here. The reason why I did not want to use my BBS onto the Chakra is because I knew with Demonic Lore it would be chipped 1 damage, and the 1 damage from the Shadow Creep plus my face was enough to kill it. So I wanted to prevent him, I wanted to have this available and try and discourage him from using his BBS. He ends up playing Tuskspore, so it's probably a combo deck with Mirror Melds and whatnot. But he does have Mishuzi and what's it called here? Heartseeker. So it's probably, I don't know what it was. Usually the most common is Mind Cage Oni because of the value it gets, but I don't want to assume anything, so I decided just to Grasp of Agony this. Yeah, I will give him a Grasp of Agony, but I don't really have anything on board, so I think it was fine. It turns out it actually was Mishuzi as opposed to Mind Cage Oni, so I just, I am forced to use the Punish here. I can't afford to take 4 backstab damage. But thankfully, we are able to clear his board entirely. If it was 100 hands, it wouldn't have mattered because it would have died to the Grasp of the Agony and he wouldn't have got it to proc. But we're looking okay. He has 3 cards in hand. All of his minions haven't been able to stick, but he has another Sentinel. I don't know if it's Mind Cage Oni. And he uses Phoenix Fires, so he's really pushing damage here. So I've seen Mishuzi. I'm kind of adamant about using a Tiger, because if it was 100 hands, I would have lost my Tiger right there, so I'd rather test for it and develop with Desolator instead, because I can do like Tiger next turn. So it actually is not Mishuzi, but he is able to get those down, so it's probably like probably a Mind Cage Oni. He gets another Sentinel down, and it's very, very scary. Things aren't looking too hot. He's out of cards, though, so he has to push damage. Fortunately, I have to use my double Tigers here, clear both of them. Thankfully, it wasn't 100 hands Rikushi, or we would have been in a really tough spot. He did use all 3 of his Gotatsu, so he's out of those for now, but he is down to 2 cards, and we're able to pretty much clear the board again. I know once I just need to survive and try and get my Desolators down. Hopefully we can win, but he actually has a Heaven's Eclipse, which means I'm in a pretty rough spot. And I would imagine he has some sort of combo here to win him the game. So the only thing I can really do now is just body block and hope he doesn't have any insane combos. But yeah, so body block here. Heal up a little bit, that's all I can really do. But he does have the Tuskspore and hits me with Blood Rage Mask, Inner Focus, and I believe I die here. So that Heaven's Eclipse was very clutch, but I think what really set him up was the 3 Kotatsus that he had for the draw. And yeah, that's enough. Killing Edge is excessive in my opinion because he had the Blood Tier and his face. So he had, he had the Heartseeker and his face. But yeah, losing the first game, not bad. You know, you just have to stay composed and, you know, tournament mind, you know, just like any other competition if you play sports. Just got to stay composed and, you know, play your game. You know, I think he drew pretty well. You know, how many do you have? 3 or 4 Sentinels and 3 Gatatsus into the Heavens Eclipse. I think that was some pretty good draw on his part. But, you know, sometimes you don't have to let that affect you. You know, this is a card game after all, so just got to stay focused. And, you know, so I decided to bring back, give my mid-range Abyssian another shot. Give me an idea of what he's bringing next. It turns out it is aggro Lilith, so I think I'm actually favored in this matchup with my BBS, able to eliminate his Wraithlings for free and set up Grasp of Agony plays. But he doesn't really have a turn 1 play. Like, he has no minion to play, but he does have the Spectral Blade, so I decided instead of taking the center tile, I'd rather, in equipping Spectral Blade, I'd rather develop the the Healing Mystic there and threaten that tile, because I don't want him to kill this for free, honestly. We do have another Desolator, which we can ping off the Artifact pretty easily, so it's not a worry there. So he ends up just using the Sphere of Darkness to deny this tile for me, which is a pretty good play. For me right now, I can't really clear, I can clear this, but I don't really want to take it. I'd rather develop a Thunderhorn here, as it would be pretty good. We do get double Grasp here, so I'm really hoping that he would play his Bloodborne spell. But I think he realizes that I may be playing Grasp of Agony. I can really punish that. He also has a Phantasm, which really is discouraging in my play, honestly. Double Phantasm, very difficult to deal with. I can't deal with it at the moment. I don't have any Demonic Lure or Punish, so I can't really punish those plays. So I think at this point I need to develop a decent board. If he has the insane rush minions, then he has it. But, you know, that's all I really have. I can't really chain anything. I do have Demonic Lures. I don't have it in hand, but so I would imagine him seeing this Thunderhorn down, he would probably develop the Spelljammer. I can't really play Desolator now because I need to get rid of that Spelljammer first. And he does play around Grasp of Agony very nicely and not play his BBS. Aware that I can punish it with Thunderhorn. But no Demonic Lure in hand, kind of sad. But I do find, just to clear those 2 minions, I do like having the Desolator as a way to ping him and heal myself up a little bit. So I decided to trade my Healing Mystic into that, as well as ping the Desolator, or the Phantasm, and develop my own Desolator. Since he did last lose draw, I'd rather play it defensively, or actually body block with it, because I can't mill a card now. If he plays like another Blazehound and he punches the Desolator, then I will mill it. But that's, you know, that is what it is. But he goes for a Sphere play. Not bad. Maybe a Grasp of Agony. Another Spelljammer. So I believe it is buffed. Yes, it was buffed. So that's one of 2 things that can be buffed for now. So I get rid of a Desolator. I do have a full hand, so I don't really see a need to play it. I think I just go for a punish here. And I think I develop another Thunderhorn. Or a Desolator to body block. At this point, since I can't really deal with the Phantasms, I mean, I could punish that, but I'd rather get a well-developed board of my own. So if he decides to go in, we can, and we do survive, we have a chance of coming back, as we do draw a Revenant and, you know, a Grasp of Agony and Lightbender. So that is a lore, so he'll probably just clear it, which is not bad. He does go for the Shadow Spawn, which is pretty good here. He did message me in between here that he forgot about his BBS giving Phantasm 2 spawns, or but you know, we can develop a decent Grasp of Agony play here. Get rid of this Phantasm. We don't want him to get anything bigger. So he got 5, what was it, 3, 5, 7, 9. He got 3 boosts, so I'm not really too worried about it being on a Revenant or a Tiger now, because we saw there was 1 boost on the Spelljammer and now 2 on the or 3 on the Phantasm. So, but those Phantasms are still generating value. So at this point, I have to beat him with board and hope he doesn't really have some insane combo to kill me, as I do have double Revenant. And he has another Void Pulse. So that's his second Void Pulse. And he has used all 3 of his Phantasms, but at this point it's not really like a huge deal. What I think I do is I just go in here. Back off. I doubt he has an 18 attack minion, because as we saw earlier, he did have... I do decide to go in here because I do leave him at 6 by playing this, and which means I can kill him with another Revenant. So if he plays Revenant of his own, we should be able to win. But it is a Necrotic Sphere. Just a good play. Thankfully, by this positioning, I'm not affected by it, so he might have killed me that way. But I do have the second Revenant, and we're pretty okay there. So we're able to even up this this match 1-1. Next game, the player moves. Whoever wins the next game moves on to the next round. So yeah, it is a bracket style, as I'll show here. I'll show here. It is bracket, so I ended up getting a bye, but I don't think I'd rather play over here. No offense to these people, but I'd rather play over here rather than play two back-to-back grandmasters. But I will have to play the winner of Guard and Minmaxer. Turns out Minmaxer won, as well as beating Daveland. So we'll jump into that. That was a hell of a series there. He did win, I think, the first game. No, actually. But anyway, spoilers, let's jump into it. I always like leading off with aggro cast, because the chances are it's so strong I'm able to win the mirror. But it turns out he's playing a aggro cast of his own. I don't know if his is more aggro oriented or more late game with I've seen ones with Flame Blood Warlock. I've seen decks with the Klaxons and the Kalinas, which is a little bit more defensive and more late game oriented. But here I just decide to replace the I think it was a Thunderbolt there. Develop a Phantasm aggressively, force him to either use a Lure or a Tiger early. So yeah, it turns out he just plays Primus Fist and a and a Phantasm of his own. So he ends up buffing both my Desolator and my Ooze, which is not bad. So I decide just to Lure and develop an Ooze on my own, rather than a Spectral Blade. Against Abyssian, I don't think the Spectral Blade is very strong, as it is between Void Pulse, Desolator, and Sphere of Darkness. The artifact, chances are, won't last very long. So I used the body block here, and I think we're off to a decent start here with our board. So we need some way to trade into this. Turns out he has a Grasp of Agony, so he will be able to clear my Phantasm, which kind of stinks, and use a Tiger on that, which is fine by me. He exerts a lot of pressure here, so I would imagine he's a more aggressive cast of a list. Already down to 15. So what I would like to do here is replace. I don't want to give him cards. I see that he only has 3 cards in hand, so I don't want to give him cards there. So I do develop the Thunderhorn, as it is a bigger body rather than the healing, which I can play in a couple turns. I use Fear of Darkness as opposed to my BBS because it is cycle, and I'd rather have it for next turn. Should I draw like a Punish or something, he plays something bigger. But it looks like he's more of a full burn list, quite honestly. So that is a Tiger, and he uses it to go face. because he is very far ahead. He's up by 11, well, 12 now after the sphere. So I'm pretty low now, so I need to like body block here. Again, he only has 3 cards in hand, and I have a decent amount of healing. So I decided to play Desolator up here, run away. Play around Grasp of Agony since he's revealed that already. I decided to develop the Desolator as opposed to the Healing Mystic was because I can always... I want the 5 attack. I need to get some damage on him. So he does have Flameblood Warlock and Tiger, so he's putting me down very low. But thankfully, we do have a ton of healing that we can play this turn. And he does play around the Thunderhorn very nicely. So I just use the Abyssal Scar and and you play another Desolator plus Void Pulse. Granted, that is rather weak to Grasp of Agony, but I don't think he can finish me here. So I am heal. He can't play Revenant plus like Grasp of Agony. I am out of Revenant range now. I am 8 attack. And I decided to hit him, leave him at 1. I actually missed lethal there. I totally forgot about the Desolator coming back to my hand and playing it. So I ended up missing lethal there, which I could have been punished. But he does have that Revenant, but that's his entire play. He can't do anything about it. And thankfully, we were able to dodge a bullet there. I should have caught that lethal. I don't know, for whatever reason, I totally forgot about the Desolator return into my hand for that extra 2 damage. So, on to game 2 against Minmaxer. I'm forced to reveal my my Fey list before him because I did take game 1. That's the beauty of, I guess, of losing the first game and then winning the next 2 in a row. Is you don't have to reveal your second deck, really, because you have to win with both decks. So there is a little bit of a strategy behind it, but a little bit early. I am playing a variant of Eucharin's List. The deck again will be in the description. I am playing a variant of Eucharin's List. So my turn 1 play is pretty simple. Rather than trying to develop the Heart Sister, just develop a Gravity Well and try and take it slow. I do know he's a burn list with the Flameblood Warlocks, so I need to preserve my health pool as best as I can, and pretty much go from there. So yeah, he plays an Ooze of his own, very aggressive, fantastic play. So I decide just to clear it right then and there, accelerate and potentially play Blue Conjurer or Luminous Charge next turn. So the Heart Sister comes in and we're able to clear that. Unfortunately, one of the walls has the Prattle Creep under it, so he could play something like Grasp of Agony. But I think he just wants to develop the Spelljammer and keep his hand size. Because last game, he didn't really play. He played very aggressively, and he had limited options. He didn't have very good draws, so he ran out of steam, I think. But I'd rather just play a Blue Conjurer here. I actually wanted it to play here, so I can threaten this tile and potentially ramp into Ghost Seraphim next turn. And force him away from me, so that was a misplay on my part. We do draw Winter's Wake and a Thunderhorn, so pretty good pulls there. We do pull Seraphim from the BBS though, I think. Unless I missed something and I replaced it already. So I think he plays a Punish here. So again, I want to play as passive as possible. And try and beat him in the late game, let him run out of steam, because my late game should be able to best his with Seraphim, Winter's Wake, Luminous Charge, and Thunderhorn. So yeah, and he goes for a double Void Pulse here. He's just going all in. He knows what deck I am, and he knows he has to go in on me pretty early. Actually, I forgot to speed this up. Not much I could do here, so I decided to develop a Thunderhorn and play Mana Death Grip. I'm already at 6 mana, so I have options to play Seraphim next turn, so I didn't want to mill a card, something like Grandmaster Embla or Chromatic Cold, something that I really do need in this matchup. And he's just going everything on my face because he knows he has to be as aggressive as possible. And he is playing around that Thunderhorn very nicely, but we're able to keep him off us a little bit, I think. So I use this Thunderhorn to clear, play Ghost Seraphim in his face, and I think I've just developed a Luminous Charge, because I do have Winter's Wake in hand next turn, meaning I can stop him to play this positioning. I just do want to threaten it, and I do prevent him from moving too forward. And this is also out of the Desolator's reach, so he can't use it to trade into it and then play it next turn. Or play it this turn and get some more damage off. So he ends up just using a Demonic Lure. Very good play on his part to get rid of it. I think he just goes for a Tiger play. Though he has to go in on me because I probably knows I have Winter's Wake in hand. And that's potentially a kill on him. He gets an Abyssal Scar. He's able to clear 2 of my walls. And he's able to move out of range from this one. So this is where a little gets tricky. I do lose to Revenant Void Pulse, so I have to play around that. Though he could easily recognize by punching this and then play Revenant and Void Pulse. But the odds are that he didn't have that combo because he already played 2 Void Pulses already, so. Played my Moonlit Basilisk. It is a big threat, and I decided to do this because I can't really clear it, and I wouldn't want to trade this as fodder. And again, I want to keep things out of this Desolator's reach, so you can't get that much value out of it. So yeah, he is rather close to me. That is a Revenant. And he does recognize that it's probably Basilisk. And smartly moving out of those Winter's Wake is a good play by him. So I think I get rid of one of them. I could have used 2 Aspect of the Shimzars plus but I didn't want to take any more damage than I had to, because if I punched this, I would have gone down to 3 and I died a Tiger, or like a Desolator plus Void Pulse, or Desolator plus Fear. So I didn't want that to happen. And I wanted to stop his advance, but this position plays around Tiger. But that, not Helm of Mechazor, oh, because he got Zor. And he had Flameblock Warlock, so couldn't really play around that. He was just so aggressive, I wasn't able to, I wasn't healthy enough to get into the late game. So again, we're back into a 1-1 series. Winner moves on. And he now knows what deck I'm playing. I would assume since he's won the last, pretty much like the last few, as you can see with his ribbons, he was going to bring his Kara list, his infamous Arcanist Kara list, that has about a 90% win rate, which is very high. So I replaced the Thunderhorn here. I didn't think I need to. I kind of wanted to go into the game plan of seeing that I have Basilisk and Thunderhorn, I can outvalue him in the mid game and punish his passive backline threats with Thunderhorn. So it forces him to have multiple removals for both of these minions. Hero Seraphim, it is rather early. I do top deck a Mana Death Grip, which is great because I can just Chrome Cold it and accelerate pretty easily. I also know by keeping his board clear and running away, should they go to the late game, I will win because I do have BBS and I have walls and other means of clearing with his board before he starts to overwhelm me with Arcanist value. Aether Masters are very strong here. You can get potentially a lot of value, especially if it's unanswered, but there's not much I can really do here. I can play Thunderhorn. I could develop the Luminous Charge, but that's not what I really wanted. I'd rather develop the Luminous Charge, the Thunderhorn. Force those Aspect of the Foxes out so my Seraphims and my my Basilisk could be untouched. Same with Grandmaster Emblems, which I do run in this deck. I also do have one copy of Flawless Reflection, which combos pretty nicely with Seraphim as well, which I run 3 of. So 1 Reflection and 2 Winter's Wakes. In my old Winter's Wake list that I ran before Unearth's Prophecy, I ran 3 Winter's Wakes. But I feel like with Reflection, it's decent to try out one of. But he has a very strong turn here with Owl plus BBS plus Fox, buffing up all of those Arcanists to pretty good mana levels. But thankfully, I do have a Chrome Gold to deal with that Owl, but it still leaves a 1/7 and a 2/8 on board. Essentially, this is a Pterodon with an effect. So very big things. And I decided to hit with this. Strip it down a little bit and try and preserve my Heart Sister a little bit more and develop another Thunderhorn. So if he wants to start going in on me, I can punish that play with Thunderhorn. So I wanted to keep this nearby my general as opposed to like here. But he develops that Trinity Wing. I saw 2 cards in hand and I was like, I hope he doesn't have Trinity Wing, but you know, Arcanist lists always have that Trinity Wing when they're down low on cards. Similar to you know, Vetruvian with Blood of Air, but you know, it is what it is. That's the game we play. So yeah, he's able to clear both of my stuff with a Mana Death Grip, and as well as keep that alive. I'm not too concerned about this because he's already accelerated so much. It's this card that I really don't like him having on the field, and I can't really honestly deal with it. Get rid of Gravwell. I don't think it's that important because Frostburn is a thing. So I just clear that Mana Forger. It's the only thing I can clear at the moment. So I just decided to develop a Seraphim and Warbird. I did not want him to, you know, get another Owl Beast, clear this for free, so that's why I did not want to punch with this Thunderhorn. But he has Circulus in the back. This thing is getting so much value because of the replace. I did watch the replay back. He did. His second replace was into that aspect of the Fox, second aspect of the Fox. So you know, that's why I kind of wanted to remove this as soon as possible. But having 7 health is very difficult to do so. And he's able to go face on me with that second Mana Death Grip and hit me hard. Alternatively, I am rather weak now to. He does have a pretty decent board, so. I would need something like Frostburn to get out of this situation because I'm very far behind right now. As he develops a bunch of Illusionists, hoping that I do not have Frostburn. But thankfully, we do top deck our first Frostburn. We do run 3 in the deck, which is fantastic. So we're able to jump back into this game, and I'm able to retreat and play my Sentinel. Because I know he has to come in close on me because I will win the late game with Warbird. Should everything be clear on board, so I'm able to maintain his board as best I can. And he has to deal with this Basilisk and my Thunderhorn. But yeah, second Owl Beast. So we've seen 2 Owl Beasts, 2 Foxes, and 2 Mana Death Grips. So we can expect that, and 1 Trinity Wing. So he's officially down to 1 card with that Chrome Gold. Again, this Aether Master is getting so much value. But he has to face it because I don't think he has any damage left in his hand. 2 cards again. I'd rather play Grandmaster Embla here. Slight misplay. I'd rather move up here with my General and play my Embla here. Or play Embla here and move my General here. So he can't really hit me. So again, a slight misplay on my part. But I do feel like he would rather prioritize killing these walls, as that does present a potential finisher with Winter's Wake, and meaning if I have 4 walls up, he will die, because that is 16 damage there. But third aspect of the Fox, kind of sad on my part, but you know, again, that Aether Master is getting so much value, but he's officially out of cards, so I think we can win this. We do have Blue Conjurer to refill our hand. Again, a broken card indeed. But we're able to deal with this. He did rope and was not able to kill this. So I was able to play around that and punish that play. punish that rope. The reason why I think he roped is because he was trying to find a way and survive. So I moved my fox here because I knew it was a battle pet and it would hit this wall and this would force his retreat or stop his retreat, so he can't move 2 down. So now I threaten lethal with aspect with the fox, assuming he doesn't have frostburn. Frostburn does not win him the game, but he's forced to use this to attack, clear this Ravager, and body block with that 2/4. What's it called? Mana Forger. But we do get a Night Trap that we replaced earlier in the game, and that's pretty much game because we're able to hit for 2, Warbird for another 2, and chip him down, and we get another Night Shroud. So that's technically I didn't want to be since this is game 3. So we did win that late game pretty much a war of attrition there. So I knew my goal was to try and win. My first goal was try and win the mid game by overwhelming him with Thunderhorn and Basilisk, and should that fail, I should retreat and try and win with my walls, my Warbird, Blue Conjurer, etc. So moving on, we did best Minmaxer in the semifinals, and we would play the winner of this match, which was Everhard. He did beat Death's Advocate, which is a very good player. You often see him on the Reddit posting pretty much obscure decks, like Mind Lathe with Grove Lion in Lilith. Very obscure indeed, but very creative. And Demi Remy going down early against Improbable Blob. But that is how it is. Anybody can beat anybody in this meta. So finals, we did make it to the finals. Pretty good. Hype match. And let's jump into it. Note there are 4 games here. He accidentally chose the wrong deck. So it's actually only 3 games played. So he has Vitruvian, and I can see on the Battlefy what 2 generals he has. His first general was Vitruvian, so I felt like Casanova would have a pretty good matchup here with my Thunderhorns, as well as my Dispel with Lightbenders. So I think he just leads off with a Pax, which is pretty good. I think my play was simple here. Just develop a Zeraloth. I wasn't a big fan of Spectral Blade in this matchup. I felt because I do have Thunderhorn and Zeraloth as my turn 1 and turn 2 plays. I didn't need it because I didn't see myself playing it within the first couple turns. But he develops Pax and a Golem Metallurgist as well as a Dream Shaper to refill his hand and buff them up pretty well. He does activate my my Zeraloth, so I do get a Fiend, which isn't entirely bad. So what I do here is I do trade my Zeraloth into it. I could have Lightbendered this, but I would rather develop a Thunderhorn instead. Because seeing that I do have Demonic Lure, I can punish those 2 Pax Iron Dervish spawns his next turn when it hits my general's face. Because I didn't want to throw the Thunderhorn here, use the Pax just to clear a Dream Shaper, honestly. I didn't think that was a correct play. So gets 2 spawns here. I knew they would be connected because the odds are, I think it was like, what was it? You could have had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was, is it 50% chance to have them connected? But anyways, we have a pretty solid play here. We can clear his entire board by a Demonic Luring this here. Grasp of Agony this to get an extra 3 face damage in. Hit this Dream Shaper, keep our Thunderhorn at a 3/4, so it does survive another Rasha's Curse, or just a Rasha's Curse, or Bone Swarm. And we're able to clear this with our BBS. I would have really liked to develop Fiend, but I didn't have the mana. So I did the best I could with that. We do have double Revenant in hand, which is kind of scary versus Vitruvian because of Superior Mirage. He does have Sirocco, which is a little bit risky on his part because I do have a developed Thunderhorn on board. But I do top deck a Demonic Lore and punish this. I do a little laughing because I got lucky there. And I'm able to punish this play and hit this this chain here. And I'm able to move forward and play a Fiend. I could have played this more passively because this just dies to Falcius. But if he does play Falcius, I don't really see him playing another Golem. But anyways, looking through the replays, he does he gets lucky himself. You know, I mean, it's his turn to get some luck, and he top decks another Sirocco, which means after all those, he gets a lot, and he gets hella good spawns, which is kind of unfortunate for me, quite honestly. But I realized I can't really play around Superior Mirage. Honestly, I have to beat him now and hope he doesn't have it. Because that is pretty much game if I can't deal with it. So I have to go in, hit him, and force to take a ton of damage. Because this itself represents 14 damage plus, let's say, a Blood of Air here, which is 16 plus 2, 18. I had to go for it. But he did have the Superior Mirage, so he was able to take this game for me. You know, it is what it is. But that was honestly my best play, I think. But again, down 0-1, we know what he's running. I can see his other decks, so I decide to stick with Cassava, I think. I do. Because I have to win with it, so I want to keep my last deck as a secret rather than playing it next. So he is playing Lilith. I don't know if this is aggro or Swarm. He is very experienced with Vitruvian. He has 11 Vitruvian wins. But I think Desolator is pretty good in this matchup, as usually Abyssian doesn't run Dispel outside of usually in Castle with Shroud. I like Lightbender for one, but it turns out I see a Gloom Chaser, so I immediately know this is Swarm. So I need to play my Desolators and my Thunderhorns pretty well. And seeing that he placed it here maybe makes me believe he does have a Blood Moon Priestess. So I play my Tiger here. Could have used the Tiger to trade, but I'd rather have this stick around to trade later. Have something on board, honestly. So I decided to threaten this tile and take away this tile away from him. Because I do have Grasp of Agony and Thunderhorn in hand, so I could technically play that next turn should he not take this tile and punish those plays. But, you know, he does have Zix, so he is all in Swarm. And I think he goes for Double Sphere here, which he does. Does go for the Double Swarm, and he plays around Grasp of Agony pretty nicely because I can only Grasp of Agony 2 things here. So, seeing that he only has 2 minions, I don't think he can get a big Deathfire Crescendo or Soul Grimoire going, so I decided to throw in a Thunderhorn. Play a Thunderhorn down, probably right here, and clear 2 of his minions. Because with Thunderhorn and Grasp plus Lure, we can clear a lot of things next turn. So we'll call that a turn. So if he does have the Soul Grimoire and he trades into, he won't be developing anything on board, and that's okay by me. So he ends up retreating, probably looking to develop a Swarm. He wisely does not use his BBS because there's a chance that my Thunderhorn can hit it. But, you know, pretty simple play here. My play is just to, you know, Grasp of Agony, that center one, because they all lined up here, and ping it, and clear his entire board, which is pretty good for me. And I think I just developed the Ooze here, and seeing that he is Swarm, I would like to get rid of my Spectral Blade, because they can usually just ping them all off with a developed board. So I decided to replace that, get a Tiger instead. So 5 cards in hand, he can do a bunch of things. Does have a Tiger, which he uses on that. And he's actually running Punish, which is not something you usually see in Swarm lists, but it was very effective. But I think that was a very fair trade in my favor, because he burned 2 cards, 5 mana's worth of cards, just to remove my 1 Thunderhorn. So I think that was a very fair trade in my opinion. Seeing that he is down to 17 and I have an Ooze and a Revenant in hand, I can just easily go in on him with Void Pulse and Tiger and put him into Revenant plus general hit range next turn, as well as Ooze. Actually, no, this puts him at 9, so he's just outside of it, but if he takes another creep tile damage, he should go down. He does play for Rosa and BBS. We do have another Grasp, which is pretty good here. So seeing that he's at 9, I need to clear all these minions away because I can't kill him this turn. And, you know, just win with Revenant next turn. So I would like to, I probably should have whipped this, but he would have to use this to body block. So I would rather get the Zix out of the way and just, you know, play Grasp of Agony, BBS the center one here, clear this big swarm here. Quite honestly, I'm not really concerned about this guy because he can't body block with this. This he was forced to. So maybe the reason why I wanted this because he could just move here and probably like body block with a bunch of minions here, and I won't be able to reach him. So that's my reasoning for whipping that Zix as opposed to the Furiosa. Whereas the Furiosa doesn't really have much range with body block, but we do have Revenant. And that is a good game. So again, all of my matches going to 3 games. Very intense. Very intense. So that's this, and this is going to be the final round to see who wins the weekly tournament. Spoilers. Oops. Yeah, here it is. I have to play Everhard twice. This game was, he brought the Xerix decks. He already won with it, so he accidentally brought that. So this is the final game against his Vanar. I think I had a very favorite matchup in this because I do run 3 Frostburns, whereas he does not. Well, obviously he does not run Frostburns, but because he's a Vizian, but my Frostburns should be coming in super clutch here. So, Cryptographer opening, pretty good opening on his end. Pretty play for me is get rid of the Shimzar. Not the greatest of draws for me, honestly. 2 Chrome Golds and 2 Coronas. Decided just to develop the Basilisk. I do draw my 3rd Corona, so my draws are very poor, but I can try and use these cards to cycle and try and find a Frostburn. He does use his BBS, gets lucky, gets the tile, and you see why. Because he was able to play Inkling Surge on all the tiles. But really doesn't really care about my my Basilisk. He just throws it in the corner, but if I had a Heart Sister, I can get a huge hit in. But if I would rather find a Frostburn instead. As he does have Zix, he's got quite the burn. Deathfire Crescendo is kind of scary for me. So, as well as Soul Grimoire. Soul Grimoire would be very bad, so I decided to Frigid Corona his general and one of his minions, and get rid of the Zix, because it is higher health, and I do top deck a Mana Death Grip, so I can clear a couple of Wraithlings off there. But his Deathfire Crescendo is not very big here. He always only going to get 2 Death Watch procs. So yeah, so his second Inkling Swarm. And his Wraithling Swarm, so kind of scary there. We do have a 17 attack Basilisk, so if we're able to get a Heart Sister in and double Chrome Cold, it's potentially a lot of damage. But we do not have our Frostburn. We have 3 in the deck, very scary. So we have to clear as much off as possible. So I have to use double Death Grip, put myself in the corner, which I don't really like doing, but it's pretty much the way I survive here. So I get rid of this Zix. I do Warbird, and I am forced to Chrome Cold this. Why? Because that's a minion on board that could hit me. You could trade 4 of these in with Deathfire Crescendo, and hit me with this Wraithling. So it's like a 9/9. And if he has like a punish or something, which he did reveal last game, which he do have right here, or which he does have right here, I could be in a lot of trouble, because that would have been 5 procs, so it would have been an 11-11 to my face, and I did not want that, honestly. So desperately looking for one of my 3 Frostburns, but I don't think I draw it. Those double Death Grip does help us accelerate into our next play. I do top deck I didn't see Shimzar helping us here, as we do have Aspect of the Shimzar not really helping us because we do have Chrome Cold. So I decided to develop a Basilisk, force him to trade his minions into that, and develop only 3 Luminous Charge walls, which is kind of scary on my part. This discourages him to back off if he wants to preserve his minions. Ghost Seraphim's not bad. I'll probably replace the Gravity Wall because he can abuse those should he want to back off. He can abuse those pretty well for his Death Watch, and probably kill me if I played Gravity Wall. So he ends up trading that there, and I think he goes for Necrotic Sphere. Not entirely sure. Thankfully, his minions are rather at a distance. These 2 are at a distance, so they won't be able to hit me. This does transform first, but it does die. He does clear this Wraithling here and this Wraithling. He does punch, which is very greedy. He's probably has DFC in hand or Soul Grimoire. I've yet to see the Soul Grimoire used, so I don't really know what he's running. So I just decided to Warbird him here. Hope I top deck a Frostburn, which we finally do, but it might be too late because he does have that Swarm on us. He does have a lot of bodies. Starts going for the Deathfire Crescendo. He does realize I don't think he can deal with this Seraphim, so he uses it to clear. Uses it to clear, and you'd rather take the 8 damage, honestly, rather than the 2 to get an extra 1 point of damage in, which I kind of disagree with. But thankfully we do have Chrome Cold into Seraphim. Usually all-in swarms do not run Spectral Revenant. Some do. I recommend those types of lists to run Revenant. It's just such a good finisher should your swarm fail in the early and mid game. But alas, he does not have Revenant, thankfully. I asked him later, does he run Revenant in the deck? And he said no. So that's pretty good on our part. We do have the Frostburn to punish any defensive play and to clear and seal up the victory. So yeah. Able to get a full surround. He probably recognizes that I do have Frostburn, but I can always just hit this and have my Seraphim hit in his face. But Frostburn is the more stylish victory in my opinion. I wish I had drawn it early in the game. I do run 3. So able to take this week's TCG weekly tournament. Again, I highly recommend that you guys come out to these if you can. They're a lot of fun. Again, very highly competitive, and it's a lot of fun. Honestly, you get to play against a lot of good players, and you get a rewards for it. It's maybe 2 hours of your time, right? If you make it to the finals, this lasted for me since I made it to the finals. Only lasted about 2 hours. So if you're just looking to try and get 5th through 8th or top 4, which is not bad. You just got to win your first round, and you're automatically in top 8, and you get those Spirit Orbs, which can help you advance your collection. So hopefully you guys can come out to play in these. They're a lot of fun. As the DWC, if you guys are interested in that, the official Duelyst World Championship circuit will be starting next month in August, and depending on your ladder rank, you can get points to qualify for that by how you finish in the S-rank ladder. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, a little bit something different, again, you can get all these prizes for free. It's only 2 hours of your time, something that you could be, you can play in this as opposed to laddering or whatever, and you can test out new decks here. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like. I really do appreciate it. I do appreciate all the feedback you guys have given me and all the deck submissions you have submitted to the tier list, which I do appreciate. I want to incorporate as many decks as possible, so I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, have a good Thursday, and I'll catch you guys later.